I'm June Wilson, and I heard about Living Waters for about 2 years on the radio. And I'm used to getting colonics. I got them in New Mexico quite often, and they were the closed process though. And so I thought, well, I'm gonna go try this. I'm gonna go talk to David, and I'm gonna go see what they might be able to offer me, because I'm feeling more progressively like I'm getting heavier in a way in my body that's not just weight. It's not fat, it's a heaviness that's come over me. And it's predominantly in my gut, and I know that. And David said to me, well, there's a reason that we say you have a gut reaction. You feel it in your gut. It's true. And I can't tell you how much better I feel now, having accomplished this goal and having done this work and having listened to the coaching, that I'm feeling like a better self. I'm able to project who I am because I'm just free to do that I wasn't. My body was binding up all on its own. So what Living Waters does is they very gently coach you through a process that is all your own, so that you know how to handle yourself, your own personal self, and love yourself while you're doing it. And I wish that I could get more people to just understand how important this work is. And I will work the rest of my life to try to do that. And it's been a wonderful experience.
So, symptoms pre-coming in?
I have a liver condition, and that's primary biliary cirrhosis. I've had it since 2016. It doesn't have anything to do with drinking. It's a genetic condition. And I could tell that it was getting worse because I had itching, and I had bloating, and I had aching, and I wasn't processing my food. I started to limit myself more and more with what I could eat, what I couldn't eat, what time of day I could eat, how much I could eat. It was just starting to stop me from having my life. And so I felt a need to do something, and I am just so grateful this was here and that I listened to myself. That little bit of gut reaction I could have, I had it. I got it. And it was, it's worthwhile, very worthwhile.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, 1 being the worst, where were you when you come in?
I was probably at a 3 to 4.
Where are you at now?
Solid 9. I have a crew. I run a business that we do inspections for large buildings all over California, and I have 35-year-olds working for me. And the last job I went on with them before this, I was dragging. I couldn't do what I used to be able to do, and I did the parts I could, and I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like I had any energy. And a lot of fatigue that I didn't even realize, and that truly has all gone away. And I have a job in a week and a half with my crew, and they're going to be absolutely flabbergasted at how much energy I have.
What was one of some of the favorite things you did here? What are some of the tools that you liked? What's your favorite things to do?
I like the BioMat a lot. Not only was it a peaceful place, but it's warm and it's encompassing, and it has a very quiet power to it. I really enjoyed that. I like the T-Zone a lot, and I'm going to purchase one of those as well, because I feel like at my age I don't want to stress my body with running and doing heavy weightlifting and the things that we've all been brainwashed to think that we need to do. I need a gentler way to get some exercise and be able to just vibrate off the day, so to speak. And I've already thought about a place in my home for it. I've thought about the environment I want around it, and I'm going to build myself a health room. And my office is now going to become a health room, and my desk is going away because I only have to work on a laptop, so I don't need a desk.
Cool.
But I need a space to do all of this. When I was probably 20, I was in architecture school, and one of the requirements was to do an internship. And so I'm an interior architect, and so I went to the interior side, and I wanted to work in a showroom in Denver, and so I was hired. I got a job, and one of my main jobs for the entire summer of my 20th year of life was to go into this big room where they had all of these commercial samples. And in the old days, they didn't have a way to give out samples other than physical samples. So everything was marked and tagged, and you had to put it all away and organize things and people would return them, and so you had to put all those away. So you were constantly touching fabrics all day long. I was dealing with fabrics. And all of a sudden I started feeling kind of sick, kind of like I lost my appetite, and I had this white film on my hands at the end of every day that I worked in that room with all those fabrics. And I would work there for 4 to 5 hours at a time and then go take a break and come back and do it again. And this was a huge closet room full of fabrics. And then I got white tips to my fingers and I couldn't get rid of it, and I didn't know what it was. And so one of the manufacturers was actually a manufacturer that used to do fabric for airlines. And the rep came in and I said, I couldn't quite identify what it was, but I saw him and he was telling me about the fabrics, and he looked at my fingertips and he said, I said, oh, you have white fingertips. You must be working with the fabrics a lot. And I said, yes, I am. And I said, what is that? And he said, whenever we process fiber and create it and weave it into fabric, one of the things that we use formaldehyde, and we soak the fabric so that when you create the weave, warp and the weft, and you put them together and you create the fabric itself, you have to have something that binds it so that it will stay put as you put it through these massive commercial looms. And the patterns are all set and the yarns go in. Well, after that, I realized what was going on a little bit, and I didn't really do rubber gloves, but I tried to just make sure that I was really cleaning my hands all the time. And it got progressively worse, and I lost these 3 fingernails off of my hand, and I was in complete panic, and I had no idea what was going on, and I was young enough that I didn't have a doctor. I didn't know anything. There weren't clinics that you went to. I was in college, and it took me about 9 months to a year to get my nails back to a point where they were even covering the skin, and they dropped off. They just slowly peeled off, and I didn't know what was going on. And what it was the formaldehyde that I learned later in my life. I did some research and found out that it was the formaldehyde.
What did other people do there? I mean, were they wearing gloves, or no one educated you that, hey, you might want to wear some gloves? This is
I don't think anybody knew. I really don't think that as a representative of the fabric manufacturers, you have a huge showroom with everything from leathers, which have been tined, so they have chemicals on them. You have metals that come in. You have all kinds of things that come in. But I was in charge of the fabric room, and no one else wanted to do the job. And it was an intern's job just to do that. That was my job. So I was there probably in that room, I'd say at least 70% of my time that whole summer. So I was breathing it in, and there was lint everywhere. I learned that I couldn't wear black because everything would just cling to it all day, and I would come out of there and I had it in my hair. I had lint and all everywhere.
And these are fabrics for what? What were the fabrics made for?
They were everything. They were commercial fabrics, as in the industry itself was commercial. So they were big manufacturers, but they were used for airlines, used them, cars used them, upholstery for sofas in your home, theater seating, restaurant seating, pillows, lightweight, heavyweight, heavily woven, finely woven, linens, cottons, polyesters, rayons, wools, you name it. They all have formaldehyde in them.